Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And folks, for the next 90 plus minutes, we have an absolutely stacked and packed show for you. 3 topics, all hot button topics, no less. And of course, some newly recorded gameplay from one of a game that if you're not playing, it's just so freaking good. It has no right to be this good. And of course, a little bit of an announcement before we get into intros, folks. I have the absolute pleasure and honor of saying today that I just had a meeting with the owners of the Valeri Gaming Pillow Company, and we're going to be teaming up to bring you some pillows, through discounts of a code that they're going to give me. I'm going to be partnering with them. I personally use their pillow. I have one from the Iron Lords. King David was nice enough to send me one at the beginning, or is it the middle of this year? And maybe you know, maybe you don't know. I had a massive back surgery. So obviously I can't be hunched over because I'm put together with a bunch of hardware. So I actually do utilize the Valeri gaming pillow. Of course, it's branded with the ILP, and why shouldn't it be? Because, well, it was a gift from the king himself. And I actually do use it, and it does keep me straight up when it comes to playing and gaming for long sessions. But listen, folks, we're going to be talking about this more in the future. We're going over the schematics and the details as we speak, but I got to tell you, I'm very excited and incredibly honored to be working with the Valeri Pillow Company. And like I said, stay tuned for more information on that. I know that you've seen it on ILP. I know that you've seen Jez Corden and Rand Althor discuss it. And well, now Double Barrel Gaming is going to be working with the company. So I'm incredibly excited for that. But let's get into the introductions first. Web Dave, good afternoon, kind sir. You had a pretty damn good Speculation Town kind of episode yesterday. How the heck are you?
Really good, Boom. Really good. It was a great show last night. We had Mav and Post Up, and of course Retry. Was just really, it was fun, interactive, lots of crazy stuff. To talk about, as it were. And of course, we with Mav on, we took a trip down Speculation Town, which was a lot of fun. I love that
Well,
as
we're all
well.
co-mayors.
Exactly.
Han,
Yeah.
myself, and
Yes.
Mav were co-mayors, FYI.
Yeah. And also today, return of the interviews. I did a Thai talk. Was my interview today. So on Outbreak Gamers. So get a chance to check that out. It's now available for everybody to see. About a 30-minute, or no, about an hour long interview. It's a good one, man. He's an interesting cat. So check it out when you get a chance.
Yes, and we definitely will have we'll push that further at the end of the show. The racing enthusiast himself, known as the Fuzzy One, Fuzzy Belvedere. I am playing through. I'm currently reviewing Forza Motorsport. That's all I can
Mhm.
say. The embargo lifts on the 5th. I am going to be doing a live reactions and review that day. It's probably going to be a solo event. It's probably going to be about 30 or 45 minutes. I will keep you folks updated exactly when that is going to happen. But the embargo lifts on the 5th. And obviously, the 5th is when people can play it early. If you buy the deluxe edition, you get it 5 days early. And of course, obviously, we'll continue to talk about it because it is a big first party release for Microsoft. And of course, shout out to Jeff Rubenstein, Turn 10 Studios, and Xbox for providing a review copy for Double Barrel Gaming. And like I said, you'll get my hot off the presses impressions. I'm hoping to have at least 20 to 25 hours worth of play by the time I'm ready to sit down and talk about it. Fuzzy, how the heck are you, man? Big week for Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Bigger week for news as it continues to roll.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just so glad to be here with you guys, man. Like you said, it's been big news for these past couple of weeks. Xbox always at the top of the forefront of news, in a good way. A lot of times, we thought that leak may have been a little bit of bad news, but turns out to be pretty good news, and maybe that spark some other things in the motion. But man, Forza right around the corner. I'm still playing a lot of Starfield. Yeah, this is an awesome time of year, and man, we got a lot of stuff to get into. So let's do this.
Yeah, indeed. And the crazy one himself has made it. Crazy Lou Gaming. How the heck are you, brother? What's been going on? And again, more big news. And well, hitting the tip of the spear as they do. IGN, man, they just their freak flags for the PlayStation brand continue to fly. But we have some information thanks to the cunning and detective-like Web Dave as to why this actually may be happening. But Crazy Lou Gaming, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great, Mr. Boomstick. Almost done with the remodeling. I can't wait to finish. I can get my life straight. But either way, though, happy to join you guys. It's been a crazy week, man. Lots of news. Jimbo leaving. Oh man.
So yeah, Jimbo. Yeah, he took the stage exit left.
Yeah.
And again, some more information is coming out in regards to why that happened. We all seem to think that he was asked to leave. It was presented as him retiring, and of course, listen, I'm not going to challenge somebody and says, if it's family, it's family. Like, family's first for everything, and it should be. The traveling from Tokyo to the EU, back to the Americas, and then back and forth, that's got to take a toll on you. He is an older gentleman, so I mean, traveling that much can in fact be an issue. But we have some new information that we're not specifically talking about today, because I'm trying to gather all of the different reports that there's a bit of unrest within Sony's camp about changing direction of what they're known for in these stout single-player, story-driven, adult-themed games. Not everyone loves those. I happen to really enjoy them, which is why I have a PlayStation. And I will, of course, continue to have PlayStations as long as there's a console and as long as they keep catering to the single-player content that I know and love. And obviously, we're going to see that at the end of October with Spider-Man 2. And after that, we don't have any idea what's going to happen. But like I said, more than likely, we're going to be talking about that specific topic on Wednesday's Primetime Gaming, because like I said, there are several news reports. I have not read through them because it's been a busy morning. I had a meeting, because like I said in the beginning, with Valari Gaming Pillow Company. And obviously, I want to read the articles. I don't want to half-cock it or shoot from the hip. There's a lot of important information that I want to have at my disposal when discussing what the future of PlayStation looks like. So expect that conversation to come the way on this Wednesday's Primetime Gaming, where we are going to have C Money and his wife on as a duo, making their first time guest appearance on Primetime Gaming. Doodle and C Money will be joining us, and we'll be talking about that particular topic and potentially something else. I'm sure there'll be news breaking. But before we get into the first topic, I want to thank a couple of people with super chats, and a channel membership message comes away of Adidas20. He says this, who's been a channel member for 9 months. IGN bought the PlayStation magazine. The bias makes total sense now. We're going to get into that. He also is generous enough to drop an additional $5 super chat and simply says, boom. Thank you so much for that. Igmatic Dreams drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Microsoft needs to buy Sabotage. Sea of Stars is amazing. Indeed, it is astoundingly good. I mean, listen, I'm all for picking up an indie studio. I don't see why they wouldn't. But the fact that it's coming into Game Pass, they need to partner with them. They don't need to actually buy them. And I think Sea of Stars is doing really well, but we'll know by sometime I would imagine mid-October, how well it actually did. And Adidas20 drops an additional very generous $2 super chat, says Uncle Phil is 2 years older than Jimmy, LOL. Really? Because Jim Ryan looks like aged. But maybe it's because of all the traveling. I mean, who knows? Folks, let's break down what happened last week. It sent the internet on fire. Shout out to so many people. J-Rock, Adel Sloth, Let's see who else was a part of this conversation. Dirt Griggity, a part of the conversation, as you would expect. And what are we talking about? Well, IGN. Now, they have several podcasts. I don't listen to them. I used to be a big fan of them. I don't listen to them anymore because, well, I don't like IGN anymore because these kind of situations. Now, I want it to be clear, not every writer or journalist is, considered to be not good that works at IGN, because there are a lot of people that work there that really do a great job. But it's the little things that start to make you see that there is an inherent bias. So, like I was saying in the beginning, I was fortunate enough to be sent this by WebDave, and it's pretty interesting, folks. Now, when Starfield came out, we had several different instances where people were out there before the review saying that it's mid and it's just my opinion, and I'm watching other people play it. We're not going to get into the female journalist that said that. Again, her opinion, it's fine. Then obviously we saw that IGN gave it a 7 both on PC and on the Xbox version. We saw that PC Mag happened to give it a 7 also, which is concurrent with with what IGN did. It's funny. It's funny, folks, because what we learned thanks to WebDave is the fact that Ziff Davis is an owner of IGN, but they happen to also own PC Mag, and they also happen to own the PlayStation Magazine. Now, one thing that we did learn while all of the hubbub with Starfield was going on is that 40% of their ad revenue, and I say they, talking about IGN, I'm talking about PC Mag, come the way of PlayStation ad rent marketing. So there you go. So why are we talking about this today? Well, again, brought to my attention by several people in the community. One of the things that took and I want to give credit where credit is due. It was on Podcast Beyond, which is of course their PlayStation podcast. And the guy that wrote this, he's on Twitter. It's at Dano_Omen. And he says this in a tweet: I constantly am quick to say every time IGN messes up, I don't think that they're biased for PlayStation, but it's getting harder and harder to do so. Someone saying live on the air that if the IGN reviewer gives Spider-Man less than a 9, he's going to have a problem with them. Now, is it being said in a playful manner? Sure. But here is, and I'm going to go first to Dave on this. When we gather for our shows, everybody on this panel likes having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like jesting. We like throwing jives. We like laughing. I mean, that's the whole point of the podcasts, right? We're supposed to come here, talk about a hobby that we love, and occasionally give smoke where smoke is needed. Now, we don't go out of our way to pick one side or the other. I mean, I'm an Xbox guy first. I'll be the first one to say that. But there is no one on this panel and potentially in this chat that's more excited for Spider-Man 2 than me. And it's because I'm a Spider-Man dude. It's because I'm a Marvel stan. But I've said this before, folks. The Symbionite series, or the saga, if you will, that started with Spider-Man 252, which I own 10 copies of. I collected with my pops. So it's a bit different for me. It's going to hit different for me because it's a personal thing. Okay? So I'm excited. If you're not excited for Spider-Man because you think it's more of the same, I hear you. I'm not going to argue. But when someone representing $1 million conglomerate, there is certain responsibilities. Now, when I come to put this mic in front of me each and every day, Monday through Friday, the first thing that gets checkmarked off for me as a content creator is integrity. Now, I may be an Xbox guy, but if Xbox makes a boo-boo, rest assured that Double Barrel Gaming is going to cover it. We're going to cover it fairly, and we're going to cover it up front and personal. When you have journalists on a professional podcast saying someone, this is what, and again, I'll read it verbatim. Someone saying on the air that if the IGN reviewer, who we don't know who it is, gives Spider-Man less than a 9, he's going to have a problem. To me, that is bonkers. And it's the inherent bias that is clearly on display. You're owned by Ziff Davis, who gets 40% ad monies from PlayStation. You happen to own a PlayStation magazine. And how many times since the middle of this year have we not seen IGN completely remove an Xbox logo or platform from some of their reporting? They just did it again. Remember when Brian Altano came out and said, there's no conspiracy theory here, we like Xbox? But at every given turn, Dave, they seem to, I don't know, leave off 1/3 of the platform holders. And if you really want to get technical, it's 25% because you got PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. So if a game comes out for all 4 platforms, how is it that there's been 6 or 7 different instances, Dave, where they have left off Xbox, and somehow we're supposed to believe that it's a mistake? I mean, you make a mistake once or twice, I hear you. You make a mistake 7 times, I think it's on purpose. So let's talk about it, brother. Let's hear your hot take on another example of Sony. Oh my God, of IGN, playing Sony favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that there's a bias, and then of course, and then this information isn't really new. It's just a matter of it's like it's took me a while to I do remember when PlayStation Magazine was out, and then PlayStation Magazine was bought by Ziff Davis, the group, and then as publications became less and less, they actually quit making the PlayStation Magazine, and they went and they bought a bunch of online I guess sites that that cover gaming to put that kind of information out there. And IGN has people that are designated to PlayStation, to Xbox, to and all that kind of stuff. But with them being ad supported very heavily by PlayStation Group, whether you want to whether it's set in the open or not, you can just tell that they have a lot of a bias, or a lot of, because there's been people out there that have said, they didn't review a game very well last gen for PlayStation, and then their contact, I mean, it wasn't even that he reviewed it bad, he just didn't review it, like 100% kind of thing, or 90 or whatever. And he said that, his contact no longer speaks to them. They won't return his messages, and he hasn't gotten any more review codes at all. So it's they have definitely a heavy hand in trying to dictate the narrative of of them being the market leader, and the only place you need to play games is Sony, and that's not true. And they do a lot of things that are I guess heavy-handed would be the word for it, I guess. But yeah, it's just I guess an interesting observation. I don't have definite proof that that's what's going on or whatever, but it just seems like, and especially with the other things that happen, and the one guy that reviewed Starfield, and he made the open comments saying that if the Bethesda was purchased by Microsoft, that he would get them back. There would be retribution for that, and he clearly did when Starfield came out, and he gave it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, it's they're trying to make it the narrative that Starfield's not that good a game, even though Sony was desperate to get it locked down under exclusivity. And Microsoft just had a bigger wallet. Instead of going over them for exclusivity, they just we'll just take the whole company, kind of thing. And power to Microsoft. So, and I just think that it's one of those things that it's continuing for the next few years as Microsoft starts to really get a foothold. It could even show up sooner in the next 6 months or so if we see that, if if Starfield doesn't have, not Starfield, PlayStation, good gravy. I'm watching video clips on your. I gotta quit watching the screen. Boom. But when you when you've got the PlayStation, I'm not. They're not in trouble. They're still going to be first place even after the merger's complete next week after. They're still going to be in first place. That's not in dispute. But that they are definitely going to be in a position where they're not used to. They're in a lower position. They're not going to be making as much revenue, and we'll see what their card or title cards are for the next 6-7 months. And if those aren't really there, if they're like the last 6 months have been of one big title first party and nothing else, then they may be baby steps is really a bigger insight to their future. I just don't, you take 1 foot in front of the other and, a couple steps forward, 2 steps back. I don't know.
Face down in the mud.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
down
listen,
in the mud.
it's I put it this way, you are onto something. And I think that Sony is going to be in first place for a bit. I can't say that it's going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I can tell you that we are going to be having a different conversation once ABK closes. And maybe we don't get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 in Game Pass this year. Maybe there is a contract still there. Not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the exact opposite. But hypothetically, this is going to be a very, very, very different conversation. The first year, whatever the Call of Duty is in Xbox Game Pass day and date. Now, it's still going to be available to buy on Steam. It's still going to be available to buy on your PlayStation 5. It's probably going to be available on the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. Call of Duty will be everywhere. The difference for Xbox players is that part of your subscription service, which is now $16.99 per month, it will be a part of it. That along with anything else Activision and Blizzard releases. So this is, again, right now, PlayStation in first place, sure, but that is definitely going to change. And that's because they don't want to change. They did change. They got rid of Jim Ryan. Now, again, you take it for what you want. Fired, suspended, sent on your way, packed his bags for him. However you want to put it, he's no longer running a company. And like I said, there are several reports today that are suggesting that it was not really that good at PlayStation, and PlayStation themselves were not happy with the direction that he was taking them, especially in the gas games world. So again, we'll talk more about that specifically, but I do want to bring Fuzzy Belvedere into the conversation. Look, I understand that gaming is big business. I think everyone in the chat here, we got almost 400, almost 550 people here. I think it's all safe to say that we understand gaming is big business. And I understand that you have to make money for your company. But when you have IGN blatantly doing anti-Xbox maneuvers with their reviews, with their coverage, with their information, and I think that to me, have your review. You think it's a 7 up, you know what, that's fine. I don't think it's a 7, and that's great. But when you get out there and you are doing your news briefs and you're making your posts and you are including every brand that this game is on but Xbox, and what I think makes matters even worse is when that said game is actually an Xbox Game Pass, which should be the first conversational piece. Hey, it's available Xbox and Game Pass, and then all the others, or however you want to list it. And then, of course, we see this podcast with, quote unquote, journalists, if you will, and I use the term lightly, saying that if Spider-Man doesn't get a 9, it's trouble. Now I can't say what I'm going to give it because I haven't played it, but I bet you I give it a 9. But I'm not a professional I'm not a professional journalist, and I'm not making threats to anyone that, oh, if this doesn't get it or else.
Yeah.
But again, it was joshing, sure, but I'm just saying that it's just another bad look in my opinion. What are your takes on this, man?
When people say things along those lines openly and comfortably, then there is a bit of truth or belief behind it. Like, they're not just saying it out of the blue, like randomly, oh, a random thought came into their head. Like, a lot of these journalists grew up on PlayStation, from PlayStation 1 all the way up to now. So it even those that are on the Xbox podcast, I haven't watched in so long. Was it Unlocked? Even those individuals seem to at times play the console warring aspect, but from a Sony corner, as more so than an Xbox corner. And sure, they'll say, well, we demand better, or McCafferty will say he demands better, but it's like, when the shoe's on the other foot, he's silent, other than making mention that, dust is collecting on his PSVR 2 type of thing. But it's not surprising. It's repeated behavior. Like you said earlier, when you make a mistake once or twice, it can be forgiven. It can be, overlooked, or you can move on and, write it off as just that, a mistake. But when it seems to be consistent or reoccurring numerous times, not just weeks apart, months apart, but like, it seems like an almost daily thing. If you were to watch IGN, I'm pretty sure there's a daily slight at Xbox. I stopped watching them long ago. Like, I think the last straw for me was with the Tomb Raider thing, because at that point I was a PlayStation owner that made his first purchase of an Xbox One that generation. So it was like, why is everybody making such a big deal when Sony has an exclusive? Nobody says anything, but now we're gonna, wonder why, or when is it coming to PlayStation? Like, if they got it as an exclusive, just get the box, like I did. But that was a whole different story. But then the silence from those same individuals when, Final Fantasy VII was, a timed exclusive and it still isn't on the other box. It's like crickets. So I've stopped watching and paying attention to, with the exception of probably Destin Legary, but he's like on his own channel as opposed to IGN. I know he had a good thing as far as like something he was talking about with ABK that he posted on IGN, but I refuse to give IGN the click or any airspace or any of my time. I like with the whole review thing on Starfield, I knew just from a business standpoint, when I used to do marketing for automotive stuff, I knew it was a gotcha or a catch type thing where it's like, hey, if we give this a normal review, like a 9 or whatever, people, travel our site for 2 days, move on. But if we give it a 7, that gets engagement. So people will constantly come back here to argue with us about it. But yet we have all this content that we've been working on in the background. If it's a 7, why would you work on that content? Like, show me another 7 game that they go through that much detail on tricks and tips and things I wish I knew when I first started playing.
The top 10 things you should do first in Starfield, IGN exclusive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't see Metro doing those same tips, do you?
No.
So obviously there was a plan involved. Whether you want to see it as obvious or, oh, it's coincidence, it's not a coincidence when it's repeated behavior. So the fact that they had 2 review counts where they gave the same score for PC Mag and IGN, so be it. Neither one of them are worth my time as far as, any information moving forward. When it comes to how they do some of their podcasts and talk about Xbox games or streams where like they were live streaming something a while ago and they had 2 guests on there where they were like bored out of their mind or claiming that they were bored out of their mind watching the Xbox, dev direct or something stupid. And it's like, so you mean to tell me it was exciting when everybody gave the PlayStation showcase a thumbs down, but yet somehow they were the only ones that they could find at IGN, and they somehow didn't see any interest in the Dev Direct, which it was another thing that just I won't say it annoyed me, but it's like I'm not surprised. Like once again, most of those on that network grew up on PlayStation, and they probably feel a certain way about Microsoft as a whole. I know prior to me buying Xbox One, I felt a certain way about Microsoft, where between going from Windows XP to Vista, and then they had well, actually before even XP, they had Windows 98, and then they went to Vista. Oh no, went to ME, and it was like I'm not going to buy a console from a company that made my computer work slower. Now, hindsight 2020, it was more so to have people kind of nudge people into upgrading your PC if you were into gaming. But back then, it was like Windows ME and Windows Vista were like the worst things for PC gaming, and I equated that to Xbox. I was like, I'll never buy that console considering how Windows is, and I think I slowly did Linux stuff and Apple or iOS stuff as far, well, not iOS, but Mac OS stuff afterwards, as far as the gaming, which is extremely limited. But then I wound up buying a PS3 as well. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of the reviewers over there are biased or have a certain slight where they favor PlayStation. And it's clear they wear it on their shoulder or wear it on their sleeve as clear as day. But it just, at least be honest about it. Like they should come out there and just say, okay, what do I have, or what do I cherish more, trophies or achievements? Like if that should be almost like the first thing. It's like, oh, your gamer score is 10,000, but your trophies is 600 and something. Okay, so obviously you play on PlayStation more. So if it's a PlayStation game, I would expect you to give it a higher rating. If it's an Xbox game, chances are you're not going to care because you barely play over there. So it is what it is. But IGN honestly is not worth any of our time, but it does make for great content talking about their shenanigans that they keep on trying to play off as, oh, there's no conspiracy, when it's not a conspiracy. It's just blatant, mishandling of advertising for Xbox or reviewing for Xbox. That's all.
Look, I'm not going to even say that it's frustrating, because their content is meaningless. We're having this conversation because other people in the community brought it up, and I thought it was worthy of us talking about it because, like I said, we like to stay current. I will not shy away from controversy. Now, I'm not going to do a thumbnail that has a bullseye on IGN or something stupid like that, because there's no need to do that. Yeah. IGN puts a bullseye on themselves. All you can hope for, folks, is that at some point someone in marketing for Xbox sees this consistent spearing that they're getting. Their brand is consistently speared by IGN. And a perfect example of that is the biggest game of this generation for Xbox in Starfield has hit in a way that one of their first-party games have not hit since Halo 3. And of course, instead of celebrating this 25-year in the making triumph from Todd Howard and his team, they just shit all over it, and they consistently keep doing it. And I'm just hoping that at some point, someone from marketing goes and makes a call to IGN and says, hey, the next time we will not be doing an IGN first. We are pulling the IGN first for Hellblade 2. They should do more collaboration with smaller sites, like let's say a VGC, for instance, who gets it wrong too. We all get it wrong, but to be fair, I do like what VG is putting down, and I do like the kind of work that they do. So maybe you work with them, and VGC is a stone throw away from becoming as big as something like an IGN. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take to happen, but I'd certainly like to see it happen, and hopefully they don't sell out. And, again, consequences, folks. Someone has to be the big person in the room and be like, I'm not so really cool about you guys dumping all on this game. And then, of course, Dan Stapleton, he didn't just stop at his review, Crazy Lou Gaming. He went every day posting about how he dislikes and what he found to be annoying or not good about Starfield. So then you turn around and you see this podcast. It's a PlayStation show. I get it. They're PlayStation fans. They should be. If that's your brand, sell it. Launch your brand. Be happy you're a PlayStation fan. But to get out there and say, like publicly, if we're around the water cooler, or we're just in the green room, and I'm like, man, that dude that's reviewing Spider-Man 2, he don't give that at least a 9, we're gonna have a problem. Like, to say that, but to blatantly say that out open, and not behind closed doors, not in the green room, not at the water cooler, like to literally put this out there on a podcast. And again, I want this to be clear. Free speech, I get it, folks. It's why we are where we are and where we live. But these are supposed to be professional journalists. And I use the term loosely. Let's get your hot take there, Crazy Lou Gaming.
Well, first things first, if they don't give Forza Motorsport a 10 out of 10, I'm going to grab my pitchfork, I'm going to grab my torches, and I'm going to go out there on Twitter and tear it down. That's what I'm going to do. That's the first thing I'm going to do to give it 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, that's what I'm going to do. Nah, I'm just kidding. But it saddens me that you have to go out there on a podcast in order to get clicks, in order to get views, in order to get all this stuff. And just saying that if they don't give it a 9, we're going to have a problem. What? I mean, dude, there's people who are not going to like the game. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. There's a ton of people who are not going to like the game. There's people out there who just play RPGs. There's people out there who just play racing games. There's people out there who plays just this sort of type of game. So if they're not going to like it, you don't have to get mad about it. But I understand what they did there. Basically, they did it just to get the marketing for them right there, for people to grab that bit, promote it over there on Twitter, promote it over there on Instagram, promote it over there on Facebook, promote it everywhere, because that's what they like. They like to draw attention. They love that attention. They love it. Why do they love it? Because I always said the negative brings out the positive. And it's sad that they keep on doing that. But the thing is, I would like to thank them for that. Why? Because why am I thankful for them? Because, hey, this is why we are out here all the time podcasting, giving our thoughts, giving what we think. We're not fanboys, right? We call it right down the middle. They pick a side. That's bad on them, because at the end of the day, look what Fuzzy said. Fuzzy said, hey, I just don't listen to their stuff anymore.
Yep.
Me, I'm just going to quit listening to their stuff too, because why? It shows that you're doing this just to get clicks and all this stuff, instead of calling things right down the middle, like what you're supposed to do. Because, hey, you're the ones who give game reviews. You're the ones who give product reviews, because, hey, I built my computer thanks to the product reviews. I have to say that, thanks to, and that was like 5 years ago. But just because if it's from a company that you just dislike, because why? Oh, because PlayStation owns them and stuff like that. That's just wrong. I'm sorry. I don't look for it like a good thing. It's a wrong thing to do, because at the end of the day, we see Xbox on how it's going. We, as video game fans, right? Because we're not talking about console fans. So we're talking here like we're video game fans, because at the end of the day, what we do is play video games, no matter for what console comes out. Because, hey, Mr. BoomStick, you have your PlayStation. Fuzzy has his PlayStation. Mr. WebDave, I don't know. I think he does have a play. Oh, yeah, he does.
Yep.
He said he was going to get us a PSP. But yes, we all have PlayStation. And what do we love to do is play games, right? And if they go out there, give a bad review to a game because it's from this console, that's really shameful. Because then I start asking questions like, okay, what if Starfield wasn't in just an Xbox exclusive? Would have the review been different? What if it was on PlayStation only? Would have been a 10 out of 10?
I am telling you this right now. I'm Crazy Lou Gaming, and folks, you can hold me on this. I am telling you right now, if this would have been a PlayStation exclusive, this would have been given a 10 out of 10 by Dan Stapleton. I don't give a flying F what he says publicly. I am telling you, because actually I think it was Fuzzy that brought it up. He logistically said on a tweet that if Starfield and Elder Scrolls become exclusive, there will, with 2 stars, all capitalized, be ramifications within the industry. He said that. I have the tweet. Now, when you put that out there on the socials, and then years later, when it does happen, and you go out, you do your due diligence to dump on this game because you're a PlayStation guy, and instead of giving the review to Xbox guys, you take the I'm taking this for a review. We're fighting. Man, there's a lot of fighting that goes on, a lot of threats going on in IGN. I don't understand, but please continue.
Oh man, just hear, like I said, just hearing him threatening people out there because they don't give it a 9. That's just oh my god. Oh man. But like I said, it's a sad situation, and one day people just not gonna go over there and follow your stuff because hey, look what Metro UK posted earlier today. I think they posted something that's saying that it started like the biggest disappointment of 2023. What? I mean, I saw that. I was just laughing when I read that. I was like, what do you mean that's the biggest disappointment? Because I mean, you have Forspoken that was a mess. You had Redfall that was a mess, and now you're saying that this game is a disappointment to you guys just for you to get people out there click, just to read your article. That is shameful, really, really shameful on you guys. Because if I want to sit down one day and take you guys serious, right? I just can't, because I can see right past whatever you're writing. I can see the hate coming out of you. And that is so sad that you all have to go to that and be like that for us video game fans who want to sit down, read a good review, say, hey, okay, let me check this out. Let me check the gameplay. Let me see what's going on with this game. And basically you're like, it's not the same. It's not what I read over here. I mean, these guys are hating it. And yet I hear my friends talking about it and they show a lot of love to the game. So why are they hating? So yeah, it's shameful on their side. They keep on doing that. But at the end of the day, it's marketing. How Fuzzy said it, he was calling like the marketing side of things. They're making money because hey, the negative brings out the positive, and they're gonna get clicks, and that's what they did. They got clicks by saying it live that if they don't give a nut on Spider-Man, we're gonna have problems. Man, so sad just hearing that. But hey, what can we do? We're just gonna have to wait to see if Spider-Man comes out and probably give it a 6 or 7 and see if he's gonna bring us over there and have a problem with us. See what happens though. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, review the game how you want to review the game. Yeah. For me, I have zero problems giving Starfield a 9.5 out of 10. For me, I don't think it's a 10. My brother seems to think differently because of what it's given him. My brother has almost 14 days in the game, and he's doing shipbuilding, and he's doing base building, and he's doing single player missions, and he's doing main missions, and he's doing stuff that he has to find by going and landing on planets. He hasn't had a game that sucked him in like this in like years. So for him, even with its greatness, there of course there are issues. There are a lot of issues. But it is what it is.
Yeah, can I say something real quick, Mr.
Yeah, absolutely.
You brought up that it was your brother that he's already 14 days into the game.
Numbers at 14 days, yeah.
And that's another thing that we've seen articles saying that there is nothing to do in Starfield. I mean, you go out there, there's nothing to do. I was like, what games are these guys playing? Because wherever you go, any planet you land on, there is something new. You even got insurance ships out there trying to sell you insurance. It's crazy. So I don't understand what game they were playing, saying that there is nothing to do in that game, where basically every time you go somewhere new, the shit comes by. Oh, we need this. Or help comes, or you got to help a call or anything. There's always something to do in that game. So I understand.
Someone needs ship parts. Yes. I came across a school bus filled with kids, and the teacher is like, "Hey, listen, we're stranded. We need ship parts." I didn't have them, so I went and said, "Okay, let me go find some ship parts." Got them, brought them back, and here you go. Here's the ship parts. Kids are saved. Did you have to do that? No. Did you see what Pong So put out there? There was a derelict ship that played like the film Alien, where you find a dead scientist. I haven't found the ship. I thought I found the ship. I actually went into the area, and I found something totally different yesterday. I found a ship, a derelict prison ship. That's a prison transport ship that was, you go in and everything is fine, and now the shit hits the fan because it's loaded with pirates, and every 10 seconds it's going to 0G, then dropping back to regular, then going back to 0G, and you're running through hordes of pirates. They even have a ship that's docked. And it's and again in the same area, totally separate, different kind of a thing. Which I'm still looking for that derelict ship with the alien creature, whatever it is that's on there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you feel that a particular site or podcast is not representing your brand the way that you want it to be represented, just don't listen. You have every right to just not listen. And I'm not telling you not to listen to IGN. I don't listen to IGN. I wouldn't. I mean, and again, understand, folks. I used to be that guy that helped. I used to subscribe to that $30 a year to help keep the lights on. I used to support IGN. I used to watch all their podcasts. And then they shifted and they turned. And they are who they are. And I don't watch them anymore. And it was because of that kind of coverage that logistically is what got me into becoming a podcaster, because I didn't like the shit that they were putting down. So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to go out there and find my own audience and tell them why I like Xbox, or why I'm excited for Spider-Man 2, or why I can't wait to play Mario Wonder. But I'm not going to be false about it. And unfortunately, they are. But I do want to catch up on Super Chats. Shout out to Harkeet Chani. Shout out to I Still Rain. A bunch of people here. We have over 630 people here. That is amazing, folks. We are almost at the 13.5 mark, meaning that we're 500 subs away from 14K. Now, that may be a lot to you. It may be not a lot to others, but we worked real hard to get here. Okay. And I do this 5 days a week. If you're finding the channel, because I see some new names in here for the first time, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be extra generous, folks, share this out on the socials. Let them know that I exist. And I did do a post this morning. Last week, we had nearly 30,000 views in 5 shows. That's a really big deal. And we are a stone throw away from hitting 5 million views on YouTube. Mind you, we're still under 14K, but that's a lot of freaking views. And we just started the channel in 2017. So, you know, we haven't been doing it. We've been doing it for a decent amount of time. But again, 5 million views is nothing to sneeze at. Let me get up to the super chats here, and then we will talk about the next topic here. Now, we have our good friend Drawn TJ, generous friend of the program. He drops not one but two $5 super chat and says, "Hi guys, Lou and me are going to do a hot sauce challenge in 2 weeks live. Good on you, brother. I will not be there. I'll watch, but I will not be a part of it." And his second $5 super chat says, "My question is, did Forte say that the Xbox has no first-party games on a podcast? Like, really, Sony has one game?" I didn't. I don't know. I don't. I mean, I saw some people talking about it, but I didn't think it was Forte. And Forte is he's not a console warrior. That guy loves games all across the board. So I don't know. I can't really comment on it, Drawn TJ. But Xbox has games. I mean, come on, just look at the plethora of games. It's ridiculous. Gamer by Choice drops very generous $5 super chat and says, "If journalists cannot be professional about politics, how do we expect them to be professional about gaming? Journalism is not what it used to be." Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, the old saying, Retri says this all the time, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So the good stories of people doing good things very rarely make the front page. It's violence and distaste and lies that make the front page. And unfortunately, with gaming, hate sells, folks. Now, granted, some other podcasters and people who have their YouTube channels have built their empire and to great success. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again live on the air, folks. If I have to resort to changing the way I am to generate subs and views, I'll quit. I'll quit the effing business tomorrow. I'll pack it all up and call it a day, because what you see is what you get. And everyone that I work with, what you see is what you get. That's why they're a part of my shows, and that's why I like to be a part of theirs as well. Bartman 001 or B Martin. I said Bartman. Holy crap. B Martin 001. What's going on, B Martin? Brother, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. And he says, awesome show, Mr. Boom. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you so much for the kind words. And of course, the generosity. We have Highlander 001 says, afternoon, Boom and panel. I worked at Microsoft from Windows 98 to XP. I can say a lot of us were not happy with ME or NT. Yeah, I wasn't happy either. And that comes the way of a $5 super chat, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. We have a new channel member, Noel. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. And Highlander 001 drops an additional, very generous $5 super chat and says, Alana Pierce and David Jaffe love Starfield. David Jaffe says Starfield is in his top 3 games of all time. What does that tell you? Well, listen, I'll say this right now. 9 out of 10 times the things that he says, I do not agree. And Jaffe is a character, no doubt. But he was moved by this game. And that's coming from a game developer. You take it for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a great, hunk of salt, however you want to take it. But he really enjoyed the game, and that's good for him. Let's move on to the next topic, gentlemen, shall we? And let me pull that up right now. And I'm going to go first here to Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy, this is one that I find to be very interesting. We have here, and let me just pull it up. I'm sorry, I'm out of sorts because I had it in front of me. I want to talk about Starfield for a hot second because obviously that was the hot conversation that we had, with the whole Ziff Davis owning here, there, and everywhere. The new legal posted something last night that I thought was incredibly interesting. And not only did we learn that Starfield is going to be supported by Bethesda for the next 5+ years, and that's great. 5+ years of content while they work on different things at Bethesda. I'm assuming it's going to be the Elder Scrolls Elder Scrolls 6, potentially something Fallout related. Who knows? But definitely the Elder Scrolls 6. This I found to be very interesting. Now, I think for a lot of people in the gaming community, Fuzzy, sales is the driving point. That comes the way of Sony. When Sony gets out there and it says X game sold 10 million copies, people are cheering, right? And you should, because the game sold 10 million copies. It's great for the brand, it's great for the platform, great for the gamers, great for the developer. Well, the new legal posted this last night, folks. And this is very, very interesting for a multitude of reasons. Starfield has sold on Steam 6.3 million copies. That is purchased copies. Now, I don't know how many copies have been sold on Xbox. We don't know yet. But it's safe to say that this game is going to be a 10 million copy sales type of a game. Now, we know that there's been 10 million players. We know everyone's playing the game. We know I'm still playing the game. You're still playing the game. You're playing the game times 3, as a matter of fact, which is madness. Let's talk about that. Let's talk sales for Starfield. And let's talk about the support that's going to come the way of the next 5+ years. This game is getting supported before they move on to a Starfield 2 or something else. Mm-hmm. What is your hot take?
Well, it also comes down to what Insider Gaming was saying, where this game has probably already reached the 1 billion mark within a short period of time. But with new legals post, it shows from like a lot of the data and analytics that you see from Steam as far as like the concurrent players and things like that. They can roughly guesstimate based on the unique user IDs and things along those lines from whatever Steam is able to provide, that it's sold at like at least 6.3 or at least 6 million copies already. And that's just Steam. Now, Bethesda's always done well with the PC crowd. And now that they're part of Xbox, I can only imagine that there are other sales on there, not just everybody playing Game Pass. Plus, there's a lot of us that did the early access, so they kind of have at least their basic money for the game, even though for like the upgrade to get the early access and the constellation skins and stuff. But for like what we were saying earlier, for a game that a couple of choice places decided to give a not so glaring review. This game is selling like gangbusters for the type of title it is, for an RPG in space, basically, and in the PC space, for example, where you have Eve Online, you have Star Citizen. So this game to do over 6 million in like a matter of a month is outstanding. And yeah, we probably won't hear anything from Xbox as far as the numbers just yet. On the Xbox side of things, whether it's for console or PC via the Microsoft Store, but you'd have to believe that at least half range of that 6 million, you would have to believe at least 3 mil or so purchase it on the Microsoft end of things, and probably even more so than that, especially considering the upgrade stuff. But it's great to see that so many people are playing it and wound up making the purchase. And this is all while like all the people before that used to be naysayers of Game Pass saying, oh, it cannibalizes sales and it's bad for gaming and stuff like that. And it's like, here it's still selling a wait, hold on one sec. Here it's still selling, like gangbusters for the most part. So it's awesome to see, the game do so well as far as, when it comes to overall sales and stuff. But man, I'm just glad to still be playing. And then the 5 years of support. I mean, we already knew modders were going to, probably support this thing for the next 10 years. But when it comes to, just the Bethesda team themselves doing it stands to reason that we will definitely see a sequel or something to that effect. But yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait until we see some of the updates. I know we got DLC probably coming in within the next 6 months or so, but yeah, can't wait for that 5 years of support to kick in.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, I mean, like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. You did an amazing job on breaking all of that down because, like I said, there is something to be said about a free game in Game Pass. There's something to be said, Crazy Lou Gaming, about a game selling near 6.3 million copies sold on Steam. Right, that's absolutely amazing. I would think and again, this is me just spitballing here, and I could be 1,000% wrong. I think sales on Xbox could very well match that, bringing it well past 12 million copies sold for a game that is currently available. Let's get your hot take on that.
Starfield plus 5 years, in getting content in there. I mean, this game is going to get bigger and bigger each and every single time, because look at Skyrim, right? Skyrim was a game that came out in 2011 and still to this day is still getting content poured into it. So at the end of the day, are these guys going to put more stuff in it? Heck yeah. It's going to be, I bet it's going to last 10 or 15 years in content they're going to keep on pouring in it, because these type of games, what I love about Bethesda, right, is that they throw it out there and they say, hey guys, have fun with it. Here, it's open for you, monitor anything you like, and if they like something, they will add it to the game, which is the fun part. Not only that, that also helps them, get talent for their studios. So them selling 6.5 million, that's impressive, especially for a new title that came out, especially during these ages. And look how popular it was. It's just amazing how it sold. People love it. People play it. We saw this guy. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Oh man, but we saw Adam Savage. Yeah, that's his name. Adam Savage. Do the shit. We saw even people who sing. Who do concerts, stuff like that. I forgot his name too. That he said he's gonna play it during autograph signing. So everybody was hyped for this game and really amazed on how well it did. 6.5. That is just fantastic. It's
actually 6.36 million, and this was found by Steam Spy. I have the stats in front of me. I know some people saying that's 6 million overall. I mean, again, maybe I'm reading the chart wrong, but Steam Spy has it as on Steam being 6.36.
Even though it could be 6.5, 6.3, but at the end of the day, boom, it's amazing how this number went, especially for a new title. And hey, them putting content in there for the next 5 years, it's going to be longer than that. They're just saying, oh, we're just going to put stuff for the next 5 years, but I bet you it's going to be like probably 10 or 15 years of content these guys are going to put in these games. So it's going to be amazing. On everything, just going to add to it, everything they're going to put into this game. I mean, we have seen people do Star Wars. I can't wait to see. I hope it's out there. I haven't not seen it, but I hope we get to see like alien stuff, from the movie Aliens. Oh man, really? They're
I'm sure with the modders, I'm sure that they will.
Yeah.
Real quick, a shout out to I Still Reign of Living Split Screen. He was saying that, mentioned it during the show, Boom, in the chat, but wanted to add some context. From what I found, Steam Spy is not a reputable site.
Oh.
And they apparently, according to what I Still Reign was able to uncover, they could be inaccurate at times. So, folks, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I'll try and get actual full numbers that includes Xbox, but I will say, folks, that the fact that we're seeing such high sales for a game that's available in both Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass for PC is really a testament to how well received this game is, even with the crummy reviews by several sites that are known to be PlayStation first sites. I'll close it with that. Please continue, Crazy Lou.
Oh, I muted myself. I was looking for like some information to add, but no, it's not. It's still not. I think
I looked. I couldn't find it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But hey, even though if it did sell to 6.3, if it didn't, man, it still amazes me on how popular this game is, and it's going to continue to grow, and it's just going to be amazing. And I'm telling you, these modders are going to add more stuff, and they're just going to let them add it and let them have fun. And we're going to see content for the next 10 or 15 years. That's what we're going to see. Same thing with Skyrim. Skyrim's still pouring content on there, so it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's listen, get ready for the fact that they have come out and said they're going to support the game for the next 5+ years. That's not modders. That's support directly from Bethesda. Now, of course, they're going to have mod support, but I would imagine there's going to be more. There's already one announced, Shattered Stars, for the DLC. And that's already confirmed as the first DLC. I think that's coming within the first 6 months. It's listen, if you like the game, then you're going to be playing for years. I know that Pong and everyone that's played it, like myself, like my brother, who are just obsessed with it, can't get enough of it. That's good to know. Web Dave, let's get your take. Let's get your hot take on the sales. Let's get your hot take on the support coming in the way of confirmation from Bethesda. I think it's a big deal. And like I said, regardless of what a couple of sites tried to do to this game, it's still ridiculously successful.
Yeah, no, it's I'm sorry, I thought you were going to add more. No, it's yeah, I mean, this is just getting started. I mean, it is just getting started. There's going to be so much more that this is going to do, especially with there's DLC, there's mods, there's all kinds of stuff it's coming its way. So to think that it's, I mean, it'd be different if it was a bad game, but it's not bad. It's a great game. It is game of the year contender quality. So, I have so many people that are like, it's no way it's gonna, Spider-Man's gonna get game of the year over this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Spider-Man may be great, but one and done, I don't know. Compared to something that's gonna, be playable forever with so much content, so much stuff to do. Starfield's amazing. So I just don't see it slowing down, man. I just don't see the juggernaut slowing down at all.
No, I mean, listen, it's good to know that it's going to get support. I can't wait for the official numbers. I know, like I said, I know it has 10 million plus players. I would imagine that's going to balloon soon enough. Like the word of mouth, this has become one of the things that I have been asking Xbox to deliver, and that is a zeitgeist experience. Starfield is in fact a zeitgeist experience. Whether you give it a 7 or a 10 or somewhere in the middle, it is the game that everyone continues to talk about. Now, granted, it's starting to slow down a bit, obviously, because it was available September 1st. We're now in October 2nd. A month of gaming talk for Starfield, not too shabby for a game that's been in the mind, in the development mind of Todd Howard for 25 years. Finally, he was able to deliver what he wanted, and the team delivered his vision, and we're still all playing it. I cannot wait to get back to it. And unfortunately, like I said, unfortunately for me, I have to pause it because I'm reviewing Forza, and I got to put the proper time in to give it its flowers because I'm reviewing Forza. Guys and gals, I do want to move on to topic number 3. Now, we got word, and I look back to that conversation with Phil Spencer where he was clowned by just about everybody. At least not on this channel, he wasn't. He said that he wanted to get to 3 billion players. It's actually one of the it's what he's suggesting is a ginormous ask, right? It's you want to get to 3 billion, you can get to 3 billion gamers. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, the 3 billion plus gamers in the world. He wants to get to all of them. How do you do that on a brand that's in 3rd place? Well, you start doing things that the industry hasn't seen before. Game Pass being one of them. Right? Making the entry into gaming accessible and affordable for everyone. Allowing you, regardless of your station financially, to be a part of the gaming conversation. Now, for depending on who you ask, Game Pass, when it launched in 2017, was packed with fodder and filler. Well, maybe you think that, and that's fine if that's your opinion. But for me, it's always allowed for me to be a part of the conversation in gaming because I'm a retired guy, right? My retirement is great. I worked real hard for it, but pensions have ceilings, folks. Surprise, real life. You got to pay the bills. Those come first. One of the first things to go, Fuzzy, is entertainment. So since the statement from Phil Spencer, what have they done? They've done quite a bit. They own Bethesda, right? Bought a bunch of studios that are currently hard at work on AAA single player games. They're the leaders of the industry when it comes to gas or games as a service, right? We see what they did with Fallout 76 that turned around, ESO, Sea of Thieves, Grounded. They just announced last week towards the end of the week that Minecraft Legends hit 25 million players. Minecraft 140 million concurrent players per month. Ridiculous, right? Well, another announcement happened. Besides having xCloud, besides having a Game Pass available on your new TVs for Samsung and LG, two of the biggest video game TV makers in the land, Fuzzy, they announced that they have partnered with Meta to bring xCloud to all of their virtual reality headsets starting in December. Now, this went very moot, if you will, with the gaming journalistic community because it's just another W for Xbox. So my question to you is that I don't think we're going to see 10 million people playing on Meta. But the fact that you can play on your console, you can play on your phone, you can play on your ROG Ally, your Steam Deck, you can play on your PC, you can play on your TV. Oh, you can play on your Xbox too, PS, by the way. But now you can play on Meta. This is the dream that Phil Spencer was selling everyone, that everyone clowned him on. And it's just another step in the right direction for the market dominance that could eventually be. Like I said, PlayStation is in first place, and they're in first place by a lot. followed very closely by Nintendo. Xbox is third place. They keep doing moves like this. It ain't going to be for much longer. Let's get your hot take on this announcement.
Well, the first thing is it goes to show that the Meta partnership that was years ago when he had talked about VR for the Xbox Series or the Xbox One X is finally coming through. Unfortunately, it's taking this long as it has, but a lot of people, like you say, clowned him on it, and it was like, "Oh, he lied." No, it was a partnership back then was with Meta, and it took till now for it to actually, show some of the fruits from it. Being able to play on like big picture mode within that headset is just the start, and you don't even need to have the Xbox. You can have your gameplay or Game Pass account. Use that through the actual headset to play some of those games, and it's just a first step. Now, will it result in VR or AR games down the road? Possibly, but yeah, this is, like you said, another great way to play or access your games for those that are already on Meta, as far as the Quest 2 owners or even the Quest Pro owners. Now, if they were looking to get a 3, which I'm actually looking to get a 3, both of my sons have a Quest 2. It's another nice avenue to play your games, and I'm hoping it expands as far as what we see available to Xbox, because there are some I wouldn't say VR games per se, but there are some first person shooter and like sniper games. Not O Dark 30, I forget what the one is called, but it's like Geronimo is one that's available on Quest now, I believe. But it would be nice if we had that on Xbox, where you're basically playing as a Black Ops sniper, going through compounds and things like that. So that hopefully that's down the road, but to start off with the Game Pass stuff accessible on there is a huge win for those that didn't already own the console or don't have a powerful enough PC, but have this or are pre-ordering this unit, which for the $500, I would say it's a better value than the PSVR 2. But we'll see how things pan out. I think this is pretty much the start of a friendly or nice partnership as far as what we get to see on this end between Microsoft and Meta. So hopefully it continues, and more power to those that have access to Game Pass on more devices.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who, I mean, it's the same ideology as Netflix, right? Netflix, you pay for your monthly subscription, and it's gone up over the years. But you have immediate access to the content that you enjoy on a plethora of devices, and no one in gaming is doing quite what Microsoft and Xbox are doing, or even suggesting to do. They want more gamers playing their games. They don't care where you play. Dave, this is a monster move. Meta, I know there's a lot of people don't like Mark Zuckerberg for who he is. That's fine. Have your opinion. I have a Meta Quest 2. I didn't buy the 3. For me, I enjoy VR, but it's very niche, if you will. And I don't know if I would buy a 3. It's fine. But look, like I said, you may not get 10 million players playing on Meta. But the fact that you have this multitude of choices where you want to play your game, like I said, whether you play on your actual Xbox, because most of us do, you play on your phone, you play on your ROG Ally, you play on your Steam Deck, you play on your PC, you play on your TV screen. Now that you go right, you don't even have to have console. You just connect the controller and you go. This is another avenue. And the more that they do these things, the larger industry change is going to come, because people are going to ask, when can I play my PlayStation outside of my home? When can I play my Nintendo outside? Well, Nintendo Switch, you can play it outside out of your home because you take it with you. But they are making big moves. This is just another one. What are your thoughts on this announcement?
I mean, it's smart business. Make your product available in more places for more consumers to take it in. for Zuckerberg and the team, it's a no-brainer because it basically gives their product, more content right away, a vast amount of content that'll be available to it. um it leaves the door open for other things, as it were. There's been some, speculation, rumor, or whatever, that maybe this will open up to where Valve can release their PC version of their VR game. I can't think of the name of it, save my life.
But
But
Half-Life Alex.
yeah, but the one that's the
Oh,
VR
you're
one.
talking about the what was the name of
Yeah.
the VR for you talking about for Valve? Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're
I
talking
can't
about.
think of the name of it. It does drive me crazy. But anyway, so it happens, folks. Sorry, you get old and senile. No, I'm just kidding. The but that's something that could be possibly brought into Game Pass, so that if you have that, then maybe that's something you can actually play. I don't know. That's just a speculation, but still the VR one, yes. So there's definitely some opportunities that could open up to them. I'm interested personally in the new the Wayfarers that he's coming out with, like $300 Wayfarers, where you can watch like movies and stuff and get information. Like you walk up to a sign and it'll translate for you, and it'll show up right on the glasses, and you don't even have to basically say anything. It's just crazy kind of stuff that they're working on over there, which is kind of cool. But it's definitely a plus, and it's there's no disadvantage to this. There's no I guess bad side to this. It's definitely the more opportunities to get to get that 3 million subscribers into Game Pass. Excuse me, 3 billion subscribers into Game Pass at some point. That Phil's goal. That's the way to do it, is to make it available in more places. I mean, just wait till mobile opens up. It's going to be even more insane, and we know it's coming. Hopefully this week or early next week, we'll have
Well,
some
Friday
ABK closure.
the 6th is the last day for comments.
Yeah,
From yeah.
and with that, that's in the UK, they're like 6 hours ahead of us, kind of thing. So by the time your show's on, we should know something.
Yeah,
Maybe.
absolutely. Breakfast of Boom could in fact be one of the first shows, because it's 10 a.m. our time.
Yep.
4 p.m. UK time, where they're about to close shop, because usually they close by 5. So we might have some information. Again, we don't know what's going to happen outside of, they've already approved it. They're just waiting for the preliminary approval has happened. Now they just have to do the official approval that they're not getting in front of this deal, which we know that they're not going to do. And then obviously ABK will be able to get signed sometime next week. Maybe as late as Friday, early as potentially Monday or Tuesday. We will see. But of course, we will cover that as it happens, as we do on Double Barrel Gaming. Crazy Lou Gaming, let's get your take on this, because I specifically, I see people in the chat, what about mobile? And I hear you, and mobile is a part of the conversation, which is why they're buying ABK. I specifically left it out of the conversation because it's in its infancy. It's going to be much bigger when ABK is done and they have King. But the fact that they are teamed up with Meta to allow you access to Xbox Game Pass and all of its titles through a device that's a VR device, right? I mean, you're not going to be playing these games in virtual reality, but you're going to be able to play them on the screen aspect of it. Like I said, I don't expect there's going to be a rush to people buying Meta, VR headsets for it, and I don't know how many people are going to play. But there's something to be said, Crazy Lou Gaming, about the fact that there is another way to play Xbox games, and I think that is the big picture here. What are your hot takes on this, dude?
100% agree right there, Mr. Boomstick. I mean, hey, we want it to be available everywhere and anywhere. And that's the whole point about this whole deal with Activision Blizzard. I am one of them that wants this deal to go through, because I mentioned this before. I don't have cloud here in the Dominican Republic. So if it's going to help it boost for me to get cloud, for me to grab my cell phone wherever I'm at, say at the office, anywhere, I can sit down and play games. That's what I want to do. And so if this deal does finally end and goes through, I'm gonna be super duper happy because I'm gonna have Game Pass probably on my cell phone, on Meta, if I do get a Meta Quest, because I'm not really into VR games. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll probably get a bit dizzy because that screen right in front of me. I don't know. I have to try it out. I have to try it out. But either way, though, I just love that idea on they're doing the whole Netflix thing. They're trying to get it available anywhere and everywhere. I mean, there's people who just have TVs at home and they don't want to buy a console. Hey, let me just buy a controller. Let me sign in to what's it called on Game Pass. Let me sign into that. Use the cloud to game, enjoy it, and that's something we all want. We want it to be available everywhere we can play our games, and that's something that PlayStation is missing out. And that's something they need to sit down and take a hold of because, hey, what Microsoft is doing is amazing. I love their idea and really, really want their stuff available for me anywhere and everywhere. And that's what I want. For me, I just love how I will get access to anything I want, anywhere, mobile, and everything. Super happy that they went to Meta and say, hey, here's Game Pass for you. Really do, because for people who are gonna get the Meta Quest, they're gonna sit down, they're gonna enjoy the games as much as we enjoy.
Well, I'll say this: options are good, folks. Surprise.
Yep.
I don't know. Breaking news: options are great, and you should be happy you have options.
Yes.
But let's, folks. That's the show. It's 90 minutes. It's in and out. We got a couple more super chats to get into. Obviously, it's just the start of the week for us. We still have the Xbox Factor podcast tomorrow at 12 noon ET. We have primetime gaming on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. This week, I'm going to be sitting down one-on-one with OBM. We have a lot that he actually sent me this monster DM about a bunch of stuff we're going to get into. That's Thursday at 12 p.m. And, of course, Friday mornings, breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to have you covered. If you're finding the channel for the first time, folks, we're on the hunt for 14K. Please, for the love of Joe, consider subscribing. Your sub would be greatly appreciated. And trust me when I tell you, I won't let you down. We don't hate monger, and we don't sell hate to garner your like or your sub. We just don't. We have smoke, sure, but we do it and we speak about it in a proper manner. And I think that's what we did today regarding the IGN shenanigans, which of course it is just shenanigans. With that said, Scott Gamer Dude drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, let's see. Hello, Boom. Happy belated birthday. Thank you, kind sir. Did you see the Starfield commercial during the NFL games? I actually did not. I was destroyed by how terrible my Pittsburgh Steelers continue to look. And that, my God, that offensive coordinator. It's going to be a long year, folks, for Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry. Hargi Chani, great friend of the program, great friend of the community, and representative of Game On Daily with Gaz and Asa. And, of course, Gaz. Who doesn't know him? Septic Sauce Master himself. He drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, I recall predicting that it's possible Starfield may outsell Spider-Man 2 despite Game Pass. We wish we could get the full sales numbers. Let's see how Spider-Man 2 and Mario sell. I'm going to say this right now, folks. I'm here to tell you, because I'm buying both. They're already pre-ordered. I got my digital deluxe edition on the PS5, which I everything that I'm playing gets put on hold for that game. There's a chance, folks, that Mario Wonder actually outsells Spider-Man 2. Like I'm because Spider-Man 2 is only going to be available on PlayStation 5. And they have 45 million consoles, and that's freaking amazing. But only usually 10% of the populace buys it. So I'm expecting by year's end, and this is just my quick hot take, Spider-Man's going to sell 5-6 million copies by end of year. No doubt about it. Will it be outsold by Mario Wonder? Folks, I'm here to tell you, I think so. I think Mario Wonder is going to be the big sales winner because it's a new Mario game, and quite frankly, it looks freaking awesome. Oh my God, it looks so good. With that said, let's get everyone out of here, folks. We'll start first with Web Dave. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about the show you had last night, and more importantly, tell us about the new one-on-one interview with Tay Talks from the UK, our friend and brother from the other side of the pond. Talk about it. Sell your brand.
Thanks, Boom. And thanks to everybody in the chat. And please, everybody in the chat, do Boom a big favor and just hit the like button. It's that simple. Just that simple little thing, hitting the like button would really help. Lets more people see his great content, and it is. It's amazing content.
Thank you, kind sir.
Oh, you are welcome, sir. Just put my link in the chat, and of course, it's also in the description below. But yeah, we had a great show last night. It was a lot of fun. Fuzzy knows what Mav's like when he goes into speculation town. It's so awesome. He was digging deep, and it was great because we loved it, and it was a lot of fun. All the way around, and of course, and we also had Post Up on too and Retry, so it was a good time. If you get a chance to watch the replay, it's up live right now, and yeah, trying to get some likes on that one as well. But I did have an interview with Ty Talks, and he is super nice. And really informative, and he's been around a while in gaming, and has got a good perspective. And definitely get a chance to watch that. I think you'll enjoy it. And got some more interviews coming up now. Finally got a few more lined up. Back at the interview process, but you know, it's what it is. And of course, we're gonna have the Breakfast with Boom on Friday, and hopefully it'll be a big mega show that he'll have to be bringing in like 50 people on. That'd be awesome.
If we get good news, of course, we're going to try and get as many people here. King David being one of them, of course.
Oh,
Did you see King David on ILP? Because I sure did, and he was in rare form, and the king delivered as the king does.
Exactly. It was a great episode. They're all good from the Iron Lords.
Yes.
So yeah. So anyway, Boom, thank you so much.
No, thank you. And you know what? Oh my God, I'm such a boob. I was supposed to start the show, but because I had to sit down with the founders of the Volari Pillow Company, which I'm going to be teaming up with, the same as Rand Althor and Jez Corden, of course, the Iron Lords. And like I said, as soon as I get my code and we start, we work out all the details, I'll be doing an ad read for Volari, which again, it's a pillow I use because of my surgically repaired back. It actually works. Friday, Mrs. Boom and I gave away $500 worth of gift cards. We gave away 8 of them already, and we're still missing 2. One of which I saw in the chat today, Gummy Hernandez. You won a $50 card to either Xbox Live, PSN, or of course Nintendo eShop. DM me, message me on Xbox, email me, go to the about page on my YouTube page. You'll see that where my business email address is. Email me. I can get you that code forthwith. And also, who was in the chat during the show, you from the UK, you also won a $50 gift card or a £50 gift card. And I know we can't send you one, but I will use PayPal to send you the £50 so you can go buy what you want. We do that to our international community because if you support us, we, of course, are going to support you. So, yes, real quick, Gummy Hernandez said that. And of course, and that's HUE from the UK. If you want your prizes, reach out to me. I'm going to give you guys 48 hours. But if I don't hear back from anybody by Primetime Gaming, we will redraw those 2 prizes because we want to make sure everyone gets their prizes and that we do dole out the 500 that we promised. And of course, we want to keep to our word. Fuzzy Belvedere, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for anything and everything, especially when it comes to the Forza Motorsport coverage that you'll be doing. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
As always, thank you for having me on. It was awesome being on here. Sorry, I had the kids had a little bit of a not an emergency, but like problem with the car, so had to get that situated. But glad to be here. So many good topics today, and so many good people in the chat. Great interacting with you guys. Thank you so much for showing up and hitting that like button. Definitely hit the like button if you haven't already on the way out, and just subscribe if you haven't already as well. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. And you can find me on YouTube at do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere, all one word, and you'll be able to find my channel. But Forza's right around the corner. I think I got a good bit of Starfield out of my system now. I haven't done everything, but I've done about 90% of the things. So I'll be full on ready come, was it Wednesday night, Thursday morning to hit into Forza. But man, this is an awesome time right now.
Well,
This
you
is
you did what you said you
my
wanted
Christmas.
to do. Like you literally put the pedal to the metal on Forza. I mean, on Forza, on Starfield. So at least now you can thoroughly enjoy Forza Motorsport, which of course you should. I know I just saw a message from Drawn TJ. He said, I missed your super chat. I read both of them, brother. They were back to back, and I did read them earlier in the show. If you put a new one in there, I did not get it. The last super chat I have here in front of me is Hargeet Chani, and that was at 12:59 p.m. Let me just check YouTube, because sometimes it freezes on this end. Give me a second. Crazy Lou Gaming, while I look, let's sell your brand of the Xbox International podcast, where people can check that out each and every week, and more importantly, where can people watch you in the shower doing crazy things on social media?
That sounded so wrong, dude. Oh man, before I say where you can find me, I'm gonna tell you something again. If you don't give Force a 10 out of 10, you're gonna have to deal with me and my 24-inch pythons. Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with me, baby.
There you go.
Anyways,
Pause.
you can find the crazy one at Twitter, Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good morning and do so all sorts of stuff. Also, you can find me at the Xbox International Podcast every Wednesdays at 7 p.m. ET with Silent Cypher, Soundblow, and the Big Plume, and sometimes on the Xbox International Podcast in Espanol with Eternal Shaddai, Aska Gaming at 7 p.m. on Fridays. You can find me there. And hey, like always, find me here on Mondays, hanging out with you all. 12 noonish at the Xbox Lunch Break Special. And Mr. BoomStick, thank you for having me on like always. And chat, you guys kept it rocking and rolling. You guys are all awesome. Love you all.
Yes, brother. Thank you so much for that. Real quick, I did find Drawn TJ's last super chat of $5. He says, is Xbox making an online Starfield game, co-op 4-player, or MMO? What do you think? Yes, I do think that it's in production. My only concern is that I want it to be a separate thing. Same way ESO is separate, I want it to stay separate from I don't want an addition to my Starfield. I don't want that. I don't want your peanut butter and my chocolate. I want my chocolate to be separate, and I have my peanut butter somewhere else.
Please.
If they make an ESO or a Fallout 76 type of experience for people that want to experience Starfield in co-op, I think it's brilliant. I think the starship battles are going to be epic. And it could work really well, but I don't want that incorporated in any way into Starfield proper. Leave Starfield alone. Go build another game doing the multiplayer thing. I want Starfield to say single player. That's just me. Can they coexist? Potentially, but I think it would be too much change. Leave Starfield alone. Go make let the ESO team
make a separate game.
Yeah, make a separate game. That's perfectly fine. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big thank you to the channel memberships that continue to come in. We have a new one. Noel joined the channel today, and you can do that super easy. Just go to the front page of the YouTube channel where the button says join. Click it. There are 2 tiers, and obviously we don't do anything extra because I just honestly don't have the time. 5 days a week shows, and occasionally we do an extra one. There's no time for anything extra for channel members. I wish I could. I just hope that you appreciate the work that we put in, that you stay as channel member if you are already or you're considering joining the channel. Membership crew, and of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats that came in. And again, as we promised, we gave away $500 on Friday's show. We're giving away another $500 on Breakfast at Boom in November, and then the big one, folks. Mrs. Boom, it's our largest giveaway in the channel's history. We're giving away in 2 hours $1,500 for our holiday end of year show. 2 grand prize, $250 gift cards, plus 10 $100 gift cards in 2 hours. We're probably one of the few shows that actually do this, and this is funded by you, the people. We take the super chats and the channel memberships, we tuck them away, and then we do these big giveaways, and we can't do that without you. So a big thank you to everyone that has donated the way of channel memberships and, of course, super chats. And, of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others. You want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Xbox Lunch Break Special.